What's going on, everybody? This is Ray from Exploring Florida Waterways. So you purchase your first PWC and you're probably wondering what are some of the top items that you should have in order to ensure a safe and enjoyable day on the water. Sit back, relax, and let us show you the items on our list that are with us when we are exploring Florida waterways. So the first item on our list is one that many don't think of, and that is a spare tire for your trailer. Always carry a spare tire for your trailer. Nothing can ruin a day out on the water than getting a puncture along the way to the ramp, and then you're stuck waiting for a tow truck, trying to find a tire last minute. So just go online, purchase yourself a wheel and tire, keep it on your vehicle to use as a spare. You never know where you're gonna need it. The second item on our list, a waterproof first aid kit. Guys, can't stress the importance of having a first aid kit on your watercraft, not just for you or your passengers, but you never know what you're going to encounter when you're out there on the water. So this here could become very handy, again, not just for you and your family, but for anybody that's in need of first aid while you're out there on the water. So definitely get yourself a first aid kit. The next item is a properly fitted life jacket, but also make sure that you get one that's very, very comfortable. I get it, some of the most comfortable life jackets tend to be a little bit more money, but there's a reason why. Our personal favorite are the Sea-Doo life jackets. This one here has an airflow design, so it is designed to allow airflow. I can't stress enough, obviously, having a proper fitting jacket for you and your family, but also you want to make sure that you're comfortable. You're wearing this thing for what feels like an entire day while out there on the water. So you want to make sure, again, that you get something that can breathe, something that you're not too hot in the sun, but also something that you're comfortable wearing all day. So again, we prefer the Sea-Doo ones. There's tons of other manufacturers out there of life jackets that make high quality life jackets. But again, you want to make sure that it fits proper, for you and your family, but also it's something that both you and your family are comfortable wearing. So can't stress enough. Go out to a store, try out a couple, see what feels good, and go from there. Tow rope. Doesn't matter how old or how new your watercraft is, you always want to make sure you carry a tow rope. You never know when you're going to encounter an issue with your watercraft. You might suck up something through the intake grate, and maybe you're in an area where you're not comfortable jumping out of the water and you're with your buddies, or maybe there's a boat passing through. Definitely want to make sure that you have a tow rope. Again, these could also be helpful. You never know if you're going to run into a situation where someone is in need out on the water. You might need to throw a rope at them to help them get to safety. So once again, make sure there's a tow rope in your ski or your watercraft at all times. The next thing I want to talk about, whistles. We keep a whistle for every single person on the watercraft. So if it's 3 of us riding, I require that all 3 are wearing a whistle. Again, you never know what's going to happen out there, right, guys? So again, make sure you have a whistle. You never know if somebody falls off the machine, an accident occurs, someone's in the water in distress. This thing here could literally save somebody's life. So again, make sure you have a properly working whistle in your watercraft at all times. I believe that PWC does require the use of a whistle, or for you to carry a whistle on the machine. Again, we like to carry multiples because we want everyone that's on the watercraft to carry a whistle with them at all times. So the next item are boat fenders. Now, there's different types of boat fenders, so obviously go out there and see what you find that you think would work best for your watercraft application. We personally carry 2 types of fenders with us. These ones here are Sand Shark boat fenders. I find that on a watercraft such as the RXTX, where the machine tends to be a little bigger, these bigger fenders tend to work a little better and provide the most amount of coverage. I like to keep my watercraft as nice as possible. So again, these seem to work for me. You can get these at sandshark.com. I want to say if you use Sandshark 10, they even save you 10%. But again, get yourself a good pair of fenders. I like to use this type on my RXTX. On some of our smaller units, I'll show you what we have. We use the Sea-Doo ones that literally just clip along the side and provide that level of coverage there. So as you can see there, whichever option you choose, The Sea-Doo ones work great as well. I just personally prefer the bigger fender on this bigger machine. The Wake 170 and our GTI 170, we use the Sea-Doo ones, no problems there. You know, they are a little slightly smaller machines or smaller hull than the RXTX. On the RXTX, we typically tie these to the back of the seat or and to the front here where the connection is here for the you know, the dock line. So again, whatever you choose, you know, that's up to you, but definitely recommend getting yourself some fenders, you know, depending on the tide, depending on boat traffic. These things do tend to get a little beat up on the dock. So again, making sure that you're properly protected allows your machine to stay looking nicer for a longer period of time, and obviously reduces the chance of, you know, some major damage. So again, get yourself some boat fenders or fenders. The next thing I want to talk about is ways to navigate across the water. We have this 44CV unit by Garmin. I absolutely love this unit. It is a hard mounted unit, so you know, it's fixed onto the ski, but it gives us the depth of the water. It even has a built-in fish finder. We use an in-hull transducer, so the hull actually goes inside the transducer goes inside the hull. Which makes it super easy to mount on your personal watercraft. But again, you know, it also, the most important thing about this unit here is that, you know, it does trace your ride. So it maps your ride. So if you're ever in need, if you ever feel lost, etc., you can always use this here to either navigate to your destination, or you could just simply follow the route that you took when you were getting there to get yourself back to the dock safely. So again, can't stress enough. And look, if you can't afford a Garmin unit, and these I want to say are about a little shy of $400, there are other less expensive options. There are handheld, battery powered navigation options that you can purchase. But also, I want to show you guys something here. Let me go in my pockets. But this is the No Wake app. So the No Wake app is available on iPhone. I want to say it is also available on Android. But this is another great way for you to set points of interest. You can find different marinas and fuel spots. You can also use it as a navigation device. So here, I'll try to get in here. So again, it's a free app that's available. It's called the No Wake app, K-N-O-W, Wake app. And again, you can find it on the Apple Store and it's free of charge. This is probably, aside from our Garmin unit, we use this here a lot because not all of our watercrafts have a Garmin unit on them. So this is a great app. It's free. Definitely recommend you guys download it before you get out there on the water. Another must-have item, a dry bag. This one here is a 20-liter dry bag available at sandshark.com. We also like to get a little dry little pack or little pouch here. Also available at sandshark.com. You know, these are great. We put towels in here. I put our camera equipment, our drone in here, just as a secondary barrier. You know, these machines do have some sort of waterproof storage areas, but you know, it's not as waterproof as you think or water resistant. So again, get yourself a dry bag. They're awesome. We put towels in here, we put sunscreen in here, everything that we're gonna need that we wanna keep away from the elements, you know, like I mentioned, camera equipment, etc. We keep in here. And then on these pouches, we typically keep our registration, sometimes our phones, single keys. You know, this is another great spot or another great item that I recommend for you guys to purchase. You know, a lot of these things are fairly inexpensive, but again, it can make a much better day out in the water. Another item, get yourself a good cooler, right? We personally love Sea-Doo's Link system, so we purchased Sea-Doo's Link cooler. This is their smaller one. We love this. This here, we sometimes put a couple sandwiches in here. Obviously, we carry all of our water. And what I love about this cooler is it easily locks into the back of your ski, and you can carry it with you anywhere you go. But most importantly, this cooler does such a killer job at maintaining all of your beverages cold. So again, get yourself a good cooler. If you don't have a Sea-Doo, you know, there's other options out there for coolers. There's racks, there's custom racks that you can buy. There's a lot of different options, but you definitely want to make sure you take some cold drinks out there on the water. It does get hot. And again, there's nothing worse than being out there enjoying a day at a sandbar and then not having any cold beverages to drink. So again, highly recommend a cooler. We love our Sea-Doo cooler. But again, there's tons of other options out there that are less expensive, or options that are designed for other watercraft such as Kawasaki's and Yamaha. So definitely make sure, pick up a cooler. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, you know, even one of those bag coolers, just something for you to bring some cold beverages along the way for your ride, because you know, it does get hot out there and hydration is super important. One of the next must-haves, a proper way to anchor your ski. This particular anchor here happens to be the Sandshark Jaws anchor. It is one of my favorites because it's definitely one that I feel like it's kind of rather universal and allows me to anchor down regardless of the condition. As you can see here, this thing is weighted. You just literally throw it out there on the water. Once it grabs, your machine is there. There's nothing more stressful than chasing skis while you're trying to enjoy a good day out on the sandbar. So again, make sure you have a proper anchor system. This one here is the Sandshark Jaws. It is one of our favorite anchors that we use. It isn't designed for every single condition, but I should say that it is designed for most conditions, and in most cases, this works absolutely awesome. Along with the Jaws anchor, we like to keep a screw-in type anchor. So this one here also is Sandshark anchor. So we do keep the Jaws, and we keep one of these styles also on our skis at all times. Just because, again, you never know what conditions you're going to encounter, and in some cases, depending on what's at the bottom of that water, these anchors here do a really good job. So I just like to have the options of the two. Again, the Jaws does work in most conditions. However, I will say that having a backup anchor is never a bad idea. You know, 90% of the time we're using the Jaws. I would say probably about 10% of the time when we're out there, we're using one of these style anchors. So again, make sure you have good anchor, because nothing can ruin, as I mentioned earlier, a day out in the sandbar than machines that are constantly moving around and you have to chase after them, or banging into your buddy's skis, whatever the case might be. So definitely get yourself a good anchor before you get out there on the water. Since we're talking about anchors, you also want to make sure that you have the proper bungee system for your anchors as well. These particular bungees are also available at sandshark.com. These particular bungees, these are a must-have when anchoring down. What ends up happening is, if you end up using a tow rope or something that's not designed for the anchor, ultimately what's going to happen is it's going to put a lot of stress on your anchor. It might rip the anchor off its where you have it mounted, or worst case scenario, you might bend or damage an anchor. So again, make sure you have the proper bungee system with you at all times in order to have a good experience and to get the best results out of your anchor, regardless of what brand anchor you guys choose to go with.
Another good item to have at all times is a snorkel kit.
Okay, that's enough of that. Being out on the water can sometimes turn into probably one of the most memorable moments you've ever had in your life. You want to make sure you capture every single moment. So again, I would definitely recommend a good quality snorkel kit with you guys at all times. Even if you're not the adventurous type, I didn't think I was, you will quickly find yourself jumping off the ski and exploring some of the beautiful coral reefs and things that are under the water. So get yourself a snorkel kit. Little bag with tools in it. We always like to carry little tools with us. Bring a screwdriver, maybe a socket set with some of the most commonly used sockets for our skis, right? You never know, again, what's going to happen when you're out there on the water. So, you know, sometimes it's the simplest thing, and all it takes is one tool to fix it, and you might find yourself without that tool. So again, make yourself a little toolkit. I always also bring a knife. You never know when the impeller might suck something, a rope. You never know what's out there. So again, you don't want to make, you want to make sure you make it back to the ramp safely. So we like to always carry some sort of toolkit with us every time we ride. So highly recommend a toolkit. Maintainer or tender. This one here, we use the C-Tech. We have them for each one of our skis as well. When we're done riding every single night, after we clean up our machines, we plug our machines in just to make sure that the battery stays healthy for a longer period of time. As some of you guys know, the batteries on these things are super small. Sometimes they go bad rather easily, especially if you're in an area where you're not using the machine frequently. So definitely pick yourself up one of these. This particular model here, it is a little more expensive than some of the other ones that are out there, but Amazon does have less expensive options. So if you guys are budget conscious, you might want to take a look into some of those other options available on Amazon. But again, I love using this because I know for a fact when I'm going to fire up that machine the next morning, it's going to start. These two items are not just must-haves, but they are also required by the Coast Guard. You need to make sure you have a functioning fire extinguisher with you on all your watercrafts at all times. Also, we like to keep this additional safety kit, which also has an additional whistle, some bandages. It also has, I want to say, some rope in here and other items that you need in case of an emergency. And like I said, I'm highlighting these two things because these two things are required by the Coast Guard to be with you at all times. So again, if you don't have these items, there's a heavy fine that follows. So again, be sure to pick up a fire extinguisher and make sure you have all the proper safety equipment with you at all times as required by the Coast Guard. So there you have it. These are the top items we like to carry with us when we are out there exploring Florida waterways. I am sure I probably missed a handful of other items that maybe you guys find important to you. Please feel free to share those in the comments. I'm always looking to see what you guys carry with you on your water adventures. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do so, and thanks for watching.